Hey guys, welcome to another episode of 101. How you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
I'm okay. Wasn't a big fan of how the game 5 ended, but
I was not at all.
We-
I watched that and I was very angry, but
we'll get into that in a second.
Let's start the show. On Monday, the Golden State Warriors beat the Toronto Raptors 106-105 to cut the Raptors' NBA Finals Series lead to 3-2. What is your reaction to the game, Jonathan?
So obviously the biggest piece of news from this game was Kevin Durant's injury. We're going to talk about that later. I'm going to react strictly to the game, and I will frankly say that I thought the Raptors blew this game. The game started out, as soon as Kevin Durant came out, it was obvious that the Warriors were the better team. They were just making the Raptors look ridiculous. Kevin Durant was having a great game. Then he got injured, and that completely changed the trajectory of the game. And then it kept going back and forth. I thought the Raptors were going to win, then I thought the Warriors were going to win. Each team went on different runs. And then it came down, and the play that I thought lost the game for the Raptors was when Nick Nurse called a timeout at the 3-minute, 5-second mark. I think Kawhi Leonard made a three, and then Steph Curry or somebody on the Warriors missed one. And then the Raptors got the rebound, and they had the ball, and they were marching down the court. And Nick Nurse called a timeout, which I thought was the worst call in the NBA Finals so far. And maybe not the worst, but the Raptors had all of the momentum in that situation. And then I thought Nick Nurse completely ended that momentum whenever he called the timeout. He should have made Steve Kerr call the timeout, because Steve Kerr had one more timeout. The Raptors had 4. As soon as Nick Nurse called that timeout, he killed all the momentum. Kawhi Leonard could have easily gone down there and made another 3. As soon as we come back after that timeout, the Warriors were ready to go. Steph Curry made a 3, Klay Thompson made a 3, and then we saw how it finished.
I agree with you that the Raptors blew that game, but I think it was at a different point in the game that they blew it. They were up 103-100 with the game almost over, and it was almost like they were gonna win that. Like they had already won that game. The Raptors fans were all chanting. It seemed like a team that was about to win the NBA Finals, and they were up by 3. And it seemed like they were playing that possession. They played like a team that thought they had already won, because there was no sense of urgency in that possession, and they ended up taking just a bad shot at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But another problem I have with that game is Kawhi Leonard not taking that last shot of that game. He is the dynasty killer. He beat the Heat. He knocked off the Heat dynasty and pretty much ended it. And then you saw that shot he had against the 76ers. I mean, I'm not saying the Sixers are a dynasty, but he is a very clutch player.
They will be.
Yeah.
How do you see the rest of the series playing out?
Well, hold on. I'm just saying that he's their guy, and he needs to be the one to take that shot. Anyway, what you said with the rest of the series, the Raptors have been the better team. KD, when he was playing, the Warriors, I think, were the better team. Now that he's out, I think that's the deciding factor. I think the Raptors are going to be really disappointed after them blowing that Game 5 loss. They're going to come out ready to play this game, and the series is going to end Thursday night at Oracle Arena. The Raptors will win the series 4-2.
I completely agree with what you said. I predict the Raptors winning tomorrow night, winning the NBA Finals. I think it all has to do with Kevin Durant not being there. I watched the whole game Thursday night, and I saw it begin with Kevin Durant. He was on fire. He was out for a month, and still he was playing great basketball. Then he got hurt, and we saw the Warriors not be the same team. Without Kevin Durant, the Raptors have the best player, and they have the better overall team. They have the better defense. I think they're going to win in Oracle. It would have been nice for them to win in Toronto, because that would just be something really cool to see. But I think they're going to play spoiler on Thursday and stop the three-peat for the Warriors.
Kevin Durant came back from an injury to play in Monday's game, but he was injured in the first half and is believed to have torn his Achilles. What does his future look like now, Christian?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm not a Kevin Durant fan. I thought it was very cheap how he moved to Golden State after.
Is anybody after that move that's not a Warriors fan?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm like the first to say, I'm not a fan of him. Like, I thought going to a team that, well, anyway, I shouldn't get into this now, but even with me not being a KD fan, that was hard for me to watch because he had worked really hard to get back on the court to play this game. He really wanted to play this game. He was playing great, and then he just tore his Achilles. And, that's a really hard injury for a player to come back from. He'll probably be out for next year if the medical exam showed that he has torn his Achilles, which is expected. I don't see him staying in Golden State. There's been a lot of rumors that he's leaving. The one scenario that I thought I could see him staying in Golden State is if he was the Finals MVP, came back and was the hero of that game, of that team. But obviously he can't do that now. So I do think he will leave and he will go to a team that's focused on the long term. I could definitely see him going to the New York Knicks, who are not really in the position to win right now. They're going to get a high draft pick this year. Next year, if there's no KD, there's a high possibility they will get another high draft pick. So they got those two players there, and then KD can come in the following year, and they could be a really good team.
Right,
So,
my view of his future changed drastically when the injury happened. Beforehand, I believe that during the summer, Kevin Durant, regardless of what happened with the Warriors, was going to leave to a worse team because Kevin Durant has 2 titles, and he hasn't proven yet that he can win a championship without Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, which it's really hard not to do that. But once the injury happened, I heard a source say that he cannot play until February or March of next year, and it's very similar to what happened to DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins signed with the Warriors. He couldn't play until January. Something that's included on the contract that Kevin Durant signed with the Warriors is a player option. So he can go ahead and play with the Warriors next year and rack up a lot of money, regardless of how much he plays. So I don't know. If he goes and signs with the Knicks, signs with somebody else, I don't know if he's going to get a very big deal because he's not going to be playing at all next year.
Yeah, and you also saw with the Knicks, they had to wait a year for Kristaps Porzingis to come back.
True.
So are they going to want to wait a year for another player?
Alright, let's move on. When Durant was injured, a lot of Raptors fans started cheering. What is your reaction, Jonathan?
I mean, there were 2 different reactions. As soon as Kevin Durant went down, the Raptors were cheering. Why? Because they found out that
The fans.
Sorry.
Not the players, yeah.
The Raptors fans,
Yeah.
They were cheering because they found out that they had won the championship. I felt the same way as soon as Kevin Durant went down. Me, as somebody cheering for the Raptors, I was excited because I knew the Raptors were going to win the championship. However, then my gear shifted because, Kevin Durant, regardless of the move he made in 2016, he's a good basketball player and he has the potential to be the greatest player of all time. I think that's how good I think he is.
I would not say that.
I don't know.
Do you think he could pass Michael Jordan and LeBron James?
Yes.
No way.
No.
No way. A team.
No.
You cannot say that he could not win a title in Oklahoma City with Russell Westbrook and
He was
James
going
Harden.
against Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. I think he has the potential to take a next team and dethrone the Warriors.
If he could not win with Russell Westbrook and James Harden, he cannot win.
Russell Westbrook was a completely different player with Kevin Durant. As soon as Kevin Durant left, Russell Westbrook took off. Because he does better when he is the best player on the team. When he's not the best player, when he's not the best player, he's a complete. Anyway, to answer this question, which we can talk about that later because I think that's a good subject. I think the Raptors did a nice gesture while cheering KD as he left because something that I think needs to be taken into consideration is that the Raptors would not be winning this championship like most people think is going to happen if Kevin Durant was not hurt. If Kevin Durant was fully healthy and playing with the Warriors, I think the series might already be over. But as soon as Kevin Durant went down, the Raptors realized they had won the championship, so they were cheering. However, they cheered for him because I think they felt bad about how his career is going to look. He's never going to be the same player.
Well, I'm just going to say it was hard to justify them cheering that he was injured. I mean, I understand the Raptors were so close to winning the championship.
I think any other team would have done the exact same thing.
I completely disagree. You do. I've never seen a situation before where a player is on the ground hurt and the fans' reaction
because this
is to cheer that
situation has never happened before. Give me one other time where the best player on a team who's been injured for the whole series comes back in Game 5, tears his Achilles.
But that doesn't even matter. It's
Yes,
just
it does.
like
It completely
it's-
matters.
You should not cheer. Like your reaction when someone gets hurt should not be, oh yeah, he's hurt, let's go. Like
They weren't cheering because he was hurt. They were cheering because they had just found out that they were going to win the championship.
Well, I mean,
They weren't
can't
cheering.
Say that
They were
sure.
cheering for them. They were cheering for the Raptors, not
I
cheering
will
against
say
them.
this though, they were it looked like they were going to win when they were up 3-1. Then KD came back. He was their last hope. The Warriors were the better team there, and he went down. So that shifts the series back at the Raptors. So I understand that, but it's something is different. It's something completely different to, be like, okay, he's not on the floor. Like I maybe shouldn't be, feeling happy about this, but I feel relieved because we have a good chance to win the championship.
let's move
There's something
on.
different between that and actually cheering, like out loud.
Okay, let's
like,
move on.
Yeah.
Yesterday, the U.S. women's soccer team set a Women's World Cup record by beating Thailand 13-0. There's been some criticism of them to keep scoring and celebrating even with the game out of hand. Do you think the U.S. was right to keep scoring and also celebrating each goal the way that they did? Christian.
I have no problem with the United States scoring as much as they can because goal differential is important. It's a tiebreaker, and so what if they were up 8-0 and could have scored more than Sweden comes and beats them 9-0, and that affects their chances. I also think it's I've played travel soccer. We've got blown out a lot, and I actually think I thought it was more respectful of the other team to keep playing their best because how I felt when the other team would pull back is that we weren't good enough for the other team to play their best game. So I think they did the respectful thing there, but some of the celebrations at the end were just kind of obnoxious and unnecessary. I think you would agree with that. Like I understand being excited, but they were celebrating like they just they just scored the winning goal when it was 11-0, 12-0, 13-0. It bothered me that like arguably the biggest celebration there came from Megan Rapinoe, who she's a captain, is her third World Cup, and she scores a lot. This is not like her first goal or anything, and she's the captain, so she should. I mean, I understand being excited, and she's one of my favorite players to watch on the field, but that was just that was just a little bit too much for me.
All right, Jonathan.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. In a stage like the World Cup, it was right for them to keep trying to do their best and keep scoring. Let's say it turns out that because the United States only won 12-0 instead of 13-0, they missed the cut for something, right? I think U.S. fans, nobody would be like, oh darn, the United States didn't make it because they didn't have enough goals, but at least they didn't run up the score on Thailand. No, I think. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, yes, it was right for them to keep scoring. You're going to try to score as many as you can. However, you're not going to act as ridiculous as these people did. I'm proud to be an American citizen. This made me a little embarrassed to be an American because I thought it was ridiculous how these people were acting. It's the same case in any sport. If I'm going to watch you rack up the score on somebody who's never been in the World Cup, a team like Thailand, not a very prosperous country, they're
probably really proud to be in this cup and wanted to make a good impression.
It's a really big deal for them to be in this tournament. It means a lot for them, and I'm very proud of them for making it, and I'm proud of them for keeping their heads up high and never stopping trying. But it came to the point where I was rooting for Thailand because I saw how ridiculous some of these players were acting. It really rubbed me the wrong way. Maybe if somebody scores a goal to get 13-0, a high five is appropriate. Sliding and kicking your legs up in the air, that is not
Okay.
appropriate.
Can I say one more thing? So just to put this in perspective, there was also a European qualifying game going on this weekend between Germany and Estonia.
Mm-hmm.
Germany won that game 8-0. When they were scoring their 6th, 7th, 8th goal, what they did, they basically ran over to their teammate, gave them a high five, said good job. And that's at 6-0, 7-0. This is at 12-0, 13-0.
Yes, there was a way where the United States could have gotten a lot of goals in order to improve their goal differential without, I understand it's first game, I understand the excitement, but to act the way that some of those players did really was wrong of them to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more quick question.
Sure.
So, I think U.S. was only up 3-0 in the first half, am I correct?
Yeah.
And they scored 10 goals in the second half. What do you think changed? 3 goals to 10 goals. What actions or change? What do you think changed that goal differential or between the two halves?
I think that
really changed
the U.S.
that?
is a second half team, and I mean Thailand did they played hard throughout the whole game, but it is a little bit harder to play as hard as you do when you're losing 8-0, 9-0. So I think that played a factor, and I think the U.S. just came out and really just played as well as they could.
Okay, that was our last topic. So, see you guys next time.